Yep. This is a podcast where I talk to some artists I know and maybe some I don't. And today we have Brian Walker.
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
Going great, man. I'm so glad you're here.
Same.
How have you been?
I've been productive, but I've been well.
Yes, I've
Yeah.
seen that. And you've been getting pretty different with your shit.
Yeah.
Because you've always been acoustic guitar guy.
Yep.
And now you're doing some fun shit.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. The last 4 things I released or was part of, I was guest vocals on like 2 hip hop tracks. One was like a pop track called like Go All Night Living Fantasies. I came up with that title. What was going on in my mind is the vibe of the song kind of just reminded me of freshman year of college when you're just ripping shots and you're ready to just go. But like, I think the lyrics and how it was written, it was really just 3 friends going as they went. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Then I did guest vocals for an Alex Danilla track.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that for a minute.
Okay, for sure.
And yeah, that's definitely like a good thing I want to mention because that was a fun ass track.
Yeah.
And you need to do more shit like that.
Thank you.
And we need to do some people eating fruit shit.
I'm totally
like
down
that,
with it.
for sure. Because that just works so well. So tell me about the inspiration for that.
So
yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. So this was organic, but also not organic. I saw Alex make this like piano video, like with the lyrics, but it wasn't like rapped out yet. And he said, "Does anyone want to keep writing?"
Which lyrics?
The first verse of that song.
Okay.
And he's just like literally playing a piano, like singing it. And I thought it was funny. And I was like, "Yo, do you have a hook for this?" And he's like, "No." And I was like, "Well, let me write one." And he's like, "All right, cool." And I was like, "You live an hour away from me, but I'll either come to you or you come to me."
Oh, so you actually met up. You didn't just send tracks back and forth.
No. So he says, "I have a beat." And I was like, "All right, I'll do like a scratch track and go from there." And he's like, "Yeah, let me just do it with my mic instead of your mic." Because like, honestly, like I don't have good mics.
I mean, it's either like you drop all the money on the microphones or you drop all the money on the studio.
That's true.
So pick your poison.
Yeah, that's so true.
And then you're like, "Oh, I broke my mic." You're like, "Fucking studio doesn't have the recordings
real.
anymore."
That's completely real. So then, I like wrote it because I was thinking about this dude that I cut off this year.
Oh.
And on my first tour this year, you know, the Storytellers tour that like made the documentary, my videographer Brianna said like, "Yo, I'm being a sister friend, but I'm just going to let you know, as I'm getting to know you more than I already know you, you have people in your life that I consider leeches." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, because when you're on the road with someone long enough, you see them and how they communicate with people and the whole nine. And it goes from, this is a tour, I'm meeting new people, to I'm getting to know the shit out of this person. You know what I mean? And she was just like, "That dude right there is using you. He owes you money. Da 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 da."
Oh no. Because you are the nicest fucking person I know.
Yeah.
And like you will just be like, "Oh, I got you," or some shit like that. You just extend yourself. Because you go on these tours and that's just like the amount of touring you do is crazy, I think. Like very commendable, whatever the word is. But like always been that guy on tour, and I was like, shit, I gotta start moving like Brian.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're still doing it under the same name, I've always been goddamn about. But I never really thought like, yeah, okay, the super nice guy is gonna have leeches on him, because that does make a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah. So she like broke it down. She's like,
and you know everyone too.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
Yeah. And it's almost getting to a point where I'm getting to know people in other local scenes. So it's not just Philly anymore. And then people who know people who play with people, et cetera, et cetera. But getting back to the inspiration of the topic, like we ended up talking about this specific person.
Oh, so you both knew he was a leech?
Well, I was venting towards her because I was waiting for like his half of the studio money to be paid because the track had already been done. And this was like for about $210. So I was waiting for his half.
So he pretty much stiffed you on the studio.
Exactly. And then it was like many other things. And then like, you know, we had mutual friends. And then he started talking to those mutual friends. And then and it was just like one thing after the other. And keep in mind, this was recent. There were years of like events like this that I just like turned the other cheek.
Didn't even know they were happening,
Yeah.
maybe? Or you were like, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I was thinking, it's not that bad.
Mm.
And then Brianna goes, no, it is that bad. So I'm in Nashville, and I'm like thinking about like the way this guy promotes himself as a musician versus the way I promote myself as a musician. And it's like, you know, the algorithm of Instagram does work on fundamental graphic design and advertisement theories. Like, if your picture fits, like, I think it's called the Anheuser color effect. It's not the exact name, but it's basically if your pictures fit color theory, it's going to promote it more because yeah, it really does. Did you know? Isn't that bullshit?
That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah. So like if you're like working with the right levels of blues or certain hues, then your pictures are going to just get pushed more. And he worked with that just to get attention, just so he could be seen as a better musician than other people, you know? And then he would take pictures of his actual music or videos of his actual music and then put it up. And then if it didn't reach a certain amount, he would delete it and take it down and says, oh, it's not reaching what it needs to be. And I consider that so fake, you know?
Yeah.
And Instagram's like in this
That's awful. What website is that? This
is Instagram.
I mean, like, is there like a thing that tells you what colors, like, are you in the right pattern or some shit?
It's not even like a specific color. It's the way the colors blend with each other based on this color effect.
See, I'm not a fucking art guy.
Yeah.
So like I'm assuming that just means like a good mix.
Yep. Basically a good mix.
Color wise.
And then it's also like the angles, like does this reach the rule of thirds or the like, which is a photo
I know that
technique, all that stuff. So I was just like, doesn't that kill the authenticity of not just music, but branding and who you are?
Yeah.
Because really, like, are we creating fabricated realities for the sake of selling ads? And I'm like, those were one of the things I called him out on. I was just like, you know.
And that's a scary thing because when it's like, oh, yeah, I'm making art, but like, I'm trying to make like something that's like from myself.
And your
but it's got to be like this if anyone wants to hear it.
Yeah.
So it's like, just because Spotify or Instagram needs these parameters for it to be like, that's going to be a good song or that's going to be a good picture. Like, people change their entire creative process, their entire creative integrity just to get on those playlists, to get to the front of a page. And it's like, yeah, that's why all music, like, that's like right in the limelight is super similar. And honestly,
because it's fitting a criteria that like won't be reported.
Yeah.
So we have to play the game of let's figure it out. So, you know, as I was like telling them reasons why we need to cut off our friendship, like I was saying, like, dude, your life is literally in filters. And like the one time it really hit me was my 30th birthday because, you know, I invited some people and he was one of the people that came. And he's like, you know, no one would ever do this for me for my 30th birthday. And like what we did is we had a dinner at Han Dynasty in a private area. And it was like literally a little bit close to 30 people. And it was people I knew from different angles of life. And we ate. And then he was late. And he's like, I was late because I had to get dressed in case we took a picture. And that was like the big flash, like, bro, you're not even the center of attention right now. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
And like he tried to steal the limelight during that time and he failed like multiple times throughout that night. And I've almost like felt bad that I invited him in the first place. Cause it's like, bro, it's my birthday, you know what I mean? And you're trying to be the center of it.
That's so fucking shitty.
So that's where that line was like, you live in filters, your pain isn't real, you live in filters, and you don't know how to feel. And that's where Alex like screams, no, no, no. I don't even think Alex knows that.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
I'm definitely have to go re-listen to that and feel that even harder. Because I always like it when it's like, kind of your chill vocals you were having with like a scream like in the background. Yeah. I've always fucked with shit like that. Yeah. So I definitely gotta re-listen to that and get goosebumps and I know what it's about.
And then the hook really came from like him and just a history of low-key being fooled. Like, you ever play that show where like you don't know the locals or the other people you're playing with, but their social media is tight, and then once you meet them, you're like, one, you don't look anything like your Instagram. Two, your music doesn't even sound like your Instagram. And who you are in real life is just not how you're putting yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the song's about. It's like, we got this distorted reality of like, you need to be somebody on the internet that's not really you. And I always try to tell people that do ever ask me, like, how are you continuing to go? And I was just like, I try to be a better person and be the most authentic version of myself by being myself.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? Yeah.
Like I'll release albums I work really fucking hard on,
Mm-hmm.
and then they a lot of them fall flat.
True.
And it's like, I don't give a shit. I'm really proud of that one.
True.
Whatever. And I did that. So next idea.
True.
But like I do see that all the time, and like play with people that like open up or even close out the night, and their Instagrams and shit are popping, but it's just like, you brought just a laptop today and an aux cable.
Yeah.
I saw all that shit on your you don't got any of that? That wasn't you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's really disheartening. And then you're like, oh yeah, you only have one song out. You probably don't even know what you're doing right now, man. And you can't call people out for that. But it's just like, god damn, like where's the fucking, this is my thing. You know, like I'm trying so hard to be this, not to be little whoever the fuck part 2.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's sad when like a musician feels the need to book more photo shoots than time to write music. Like that, and that's not even, I mean, it might be a call out, but it's a damn shame. Like, are you a model or a musician? You can be both. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yo, real shit, Sammy Rahman is a model.
Yeah, like, Sammy, like, are you a model?
I'm waiting for him to get, like, a clothes
because Sammy's an attractive dude.
He's a prince.
That's just a fact.
Yeah.
You know? And that's not who I was thinking about. But, like, if
and
Sammy
I know you weren't, but,
yeah.
like, that came to my mind. I was like, damn, Sammy is, like, both. When you said both.
If you want to be, if Sammy wants to be both, do both.
Yeah.
Change that bio, model, musician.
Right? Or some shit like that.
But I do think it almost...
It's like, where does he go for some of those? Oh, he's like in a cornfield. It's like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, because unless you go to like Monco or Delco, you can't find cornfields in Philly.
That kid's magical.
You know what I mean? But it's a real thing because I've met these people on tour where it's like, I'm playing with a bikini model today. Who booked this show? I'm serious. Because, like, yeah, I do follow big butt Instagrams. I have no shame admitting that.
I mean,
you know, who doesn't?
There's 14 million followers on them. And I wonder who they could be.
Yeah, like, I have no shame admitting that. But there are definitely some people I've met, like, and this is all spectrums of you know, the gender spectrum, that I'm really wondering, like, are you promoting your music or are you promoting vanity? And that gets confusing, you know? And then it's also disheartening to them because there's that question of, why do people like more photos of myself than my art or music? And it's just like...
I did not expect to get this deep.
You know what I'm saying?
But no, that's so fucking real. And it does... Like, I'm weird with that. Because it's like, if you got it, go for it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean... Even if you are hot, it still takes an extra step to be like, oh, I'm Instagram hot right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, if that's your angle, like, go for it. But no, like, yeah, a lot of people are just looking at you because you are,
and they're not going to click that link
attractive.
for your Bandcamp or whatever.
Sadly, no.
Yeah, and that's, I think,
and like that's where it's like double-edged sword.
It is a double-edged sword.
You know, like it
and that's
works.
where I'm coming from. I'm not coming from like, yo, fuck pretty people. That's weird.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
a total weird.
Yeah,
thing.
no, not at all.
You know,
because I feel like there's even people that like go for like the weird look when that could just be like who they've been.
True.
Before they even started, like, oh, I'm gonna be this person in music now, and then it's like, yeah, this is just who I am, and they're like, yeah, sure, or some shit. Like I'm like Billie Eilish, however you say your name, whatever.
I don't know either.
Like, who cares?
And it's fucked up. Because especially for people like Billie Eilish, they'll sexualize her. Is she really a singer?
Oh.
Did she really write those lyrics? I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Isn't she like 17 or something?
I think she just turned 18 like today or something. I literally like, and the only reason why I know that is because it literally showed up on my Google Pixel and I literally clicked, I don't want to know this. Which I mean, I listen to Billie Eilish. Ocean Eyes is like literally my top favorite song of hers.
Really?
Which is like before her album.
What is it like? I've only heard Bad Guy.
Oh yeah, Ocean Eyes is definitely before Bad Guy. So Ocean Eyes is like very like organic.
Like live instruments,
Yeah,
acoustic
live
shit?
instruments, acoustic, and like a lot of her music made it to like European TV shows and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I found out about Billie Eilish.
What would you compare her to?
She's honestly, do you know who Clairo is? Claire Cottrell. That's like her full name. Do you know Sophie Myers?
No. This is why I'm doing the show, so I learned things.
Yeah. Who's another person? Because the three of them are kind of like a triad of like derivative music. Honestly, a younger Lana Del Rey.
Okay.
Some people might slap me for that. Some people might agree with me. But I would definitely say all three of them.
Like an alternative, modern, young Lana Del Rey.
Yeah, because it's still like sad girl, sad boy music, because that is what Lana Del Rey music is. But Lana has like a lot of string arrangements, whereas like Billie is a lot of
got
like
that bedroom string arrangement.
Yeah, exactly. And the three of them all have their own vibe. Like Sophie Myers is low key like an R&B singer, and like her titles of her songs are just like, I fucked your boyfriend last night after he texted me. And you're like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? And the song will literally be about that, you know?
Okay.
And Clyra is kind of just like, this is my world and you're living in it.
Okay.
And Billie Eilish, who's the most popular of the three, is, well, you're familiar. It's just like, I'm going to talk about different aspects of life and being a depressed, struggling teen. So I definitely enjoy the whole elements of that. But I want to finish the whole... internet authenticity / reality. Like, I guess where I'm coming from, because keep in mind, I still battle this myself. Like, there have been times where I've posted photos or videos and people will DM me, I like your smile. I want you to smile more. And I'm like, is this the smile Instagram? Like, that's what I want to say to them. Like, you know, I'm just like,
did you listen to the song?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Or did you even see the band title?
Yeah. Or I've noticed like, older listeners, they'll see photos with me and like, you know, femme collaborators, and they'll say things like, oh, I'm so glad that you're happy now. And I'm like, bruh, this is my bassist for this song, not my partner.
Oh my God.
And that's where that whole, and they never, sometimes they say it publicly, but they usually say it to me in private, and I will correct them. Like, look, this is someone I respect. They're my friend. Like, we are writing music. But it just kind of adheres that there's that gap between what you think something is and what it is. And that could be a problem.
Yeah. And, you know, it's just hard trying to like be authentic when people can interpret it in any way. And I feel like that's the main scare of it. Which is why people try to dull it down into the like mainstream ideas, I feel, a lot more. And that's why we get the fake people, the fake performances and shit like that.
Exactly. And you'll even notice certain song curators, and I mean that like from coffee shops to, you know, bookers, they have like a flavor or color to like the type of music that they book, and it almost becomes the algorithm. And then it becomes this whole game of, you know, whatever gets the most attention also is the highest bidder, and then that's the one that wins. And
of course,
it's a clusterfuck.
You know, you'll bitch about like saying like, oh, like, because I can't stand it when I see like someone like screaming and crying to get on 104.5 birthday shows or something like that, because they do it in the worst way possible. It's like, post this every day and get your friends to vote for us every day.
And that's free advertising for 104.5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it just takes so much out of like an authenticity thing again, of just like, please, please, please vote for us, like, to get on this show that where no one's gonna care, really, because they're just there to see 21 Pilots or whatever.
And you know, just speaking to myself, like, I just released a pre-order of a T-shirt with a dog on it that said "Good friends are hard to find." Someone posted a photo of them with the shirt, and I said, hey, if you get the shirt, feel free to take a picture. I said it in the most like natural way. I didn't even say like use a hashtag or anything like that. I did send letters, and I didn't even say in the letter like use hashtag this after you get this shirt. I did not say that. I feel like that makes me feel weird.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people who got the shirt posted a photo of themselves with the shirt. So I reshared it, asked like, hey, can I put this in my Instagram to share with you? Da 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 da. Thank you. I really enjoy the support. Someone out of nowhere, I still don't know this person, messaged me, I think it was on Twitter or Instagram, and said, dude, how do you do merch campaigns to get other people to wear your shirt and share it? And I was like, bruh, I can't even tell you.
You get fans, man.
I was like
what?
You just got to keep networking and
you play a show, someone buys it, and then they're like, I fucking love this band.
Yeah, it was simple as that. And I think that's the shitty part about music. It can be calculated.
And that's such a foreign idea to somebody.
But it is, yeah. And the fact that it can be calculated is taking away from the natural.
Yeah.
But I also have come to learn most calculated projects don't last that long. Or they come and they go.
What do you mean by calculated, though?
Like, I said this to you on the internet, but it's like, let's just say I want to write a song about socks.
And then sell it to socks.
Yeah, and then I get an investor and he'd be like, you're starting a company about socks, right? He's like, yeah, give me $5,000 and I'm going to write a hit song about socks. And then with that $5,000, I give $1,000 to a producer. I give another $1,000 to a rapper. They write the song about socks, but I get the rights, because I'm a big socks guy. And then with that, we take $1,000 or $2,000 to put on a playlist. And then the last $1,000 just gets used for advertising and other overheads. So with $5,000, you influence the media, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, that Sox song! It's amazing! It's amazing! Who's it by? Little Sox! Oh man, Sox is going everywhere!" And then after that, the advertiser's like, "Thanks. The return on this gave me $20,000. I'll see you never."
Mm-hmm.
Where do I go? Because I'm not the rapper. I'm not the producer. I'm just the guy pretending to be the face of this.
Mm-hmm.
I go nowhere because I don't have talent or like I do, but I'm just saying like this is what someone could do.
And that's a calculated.
And that's a calculated way to get attention as a musician. And I've met people like that. I'm not going to record. I'm waiting for investors. I'm like,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I'll only be like, I'm not going to record. Why? Because it's like, I already have too much that I can't put out already.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you
and that's
have
a much
shit
better
ton of songs.
Yeah, I do.
In your backlog, too.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, man. Like, writing is something else. Like, I feel like there is someone that, like, likes the idea of music, and then there are artists.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, someone that likes the idea of music can do a little programming and then can figure it out the rest of the way because music isn't that hard.
No.
But like they're doing it the calculated way, and I feel like that's because you can go down to the store and be the next whoever the fuck you want to be with a couple $100 at the Guitar Center or whatever, and that's just like oversaturating everything.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at today, and I feel like maybe eventually, like, really creative music will start to dominate again because I feel like it'll be like the Christmas music effect. Because when Christmas music was a thing, like the fucking 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, everyone was still blasting that shit all the time when it came around. Because that's when it was really starting to be written anyway. Like, yeah, we had Christmas classics and stuff before then, but I mean, like, the shit you hear on the radio all the time now. Yeah, Mariah Carey.
Yeah. She's been like #1 Christmas song for
how many
most
years?
of our lives.
Yeah, pretty much my whole life.
Yeah,
And that's exactly what I'm fucking talking about. And eventually I feel people will be like, because how often do you hear someone say, I fucking love Christmas music anymore? Like, it's a rarity, I feel, to where people like, turn that shit off. I've heard it 5 times this entire December, and it's been glorious. Like, and they even play it here. And I managed to, zip in and out. But
gotcha, yeah.
I feel like that's what will pop music be eventually. Like, maybe people are just like, this fucking shit again. Like, I've heard this high-pitched whoever the fuck with an EDM trance big dub background track, and then maybe like there's dubstep styled stuff out there. It's like, it's not 2012 anymore. Come on. It's not 2010. Like, the fact that like there's wubs in pop music is ridiculous, and not ridiculous, but I mean like in every song, pretty much every song's that same. Where are you now?
Yeah,
it's always got that EDM drop. It's cool. I'm glad there's a lot of electronic music in today's society, but again, it's all crafted the same. You know, the type beat scenario, and I hope at least eventually weird shit will resurface again.
I hope so too, because like the Instagram, it's almost like the creative process is calculated like an algorithm.
Exactly.
I definitely agree with that, because I was messaging a friend of mine who's like definitely in a buzz band. Not going to drop his band name, even though I like the band.
You can drop it.
Oh yeah, it was best friends, you know.
Okay.
And I was talking to him. I was just like, you know, I don't know if it's going to be 2020, but I predict we'll get to a point where genre in terms of recognition will exist, but genre in terms of what we consume and the cliques we're a part of will cease to exist. Because, and I don't mean this in like singularity theory, I mean it more in the sense that people are going to look at music for just being good.
And just music.
Versus, oh, can't listen to 808s, fuck my life. Or can't listen to autotune, fuck my life. Or whatever it might be.
Well, because I feel like, again, it's another like, because we're in a very weird state of music progression in the sense of like, before, like to the average listener, there was rock and like rap, and like rock encompassed from hair bands to chill shit.
True.
And like folky stuff, and rap, like R&B to whatever the fuck. And then like sometimes you had the person listen to electronic music when that started to surface up. And like before rap and stuff, you could even say like disco and like funk and shit like that as well. Same thing with rock, like blues and jazz, whatever. But now it's like this just infinite mesh of these like kind of cornerstone ideas of genre that was always in the mainstream, to where, yeah, it's just going to be, I listen to music, you know, like what's everything is electronic when it comes to music. Like it's published electronically. We're listening to it electronically. Like no one's putting on what are those old horn LP players? You know, no one's busting one of those motherfuckers out. You know what I mean? It's just shit like that where it's so broad now. Like you could say any song has any part and it'd be like, yeah, that has some IDM hi-hats with like EDM bass line and like, or like a dub bass line, and like there's like a rapper on top, and then there's like pop vocals in the back, and you got that acoustic guitar. That could be fucking folk right there.
Ed Sheeran.
I fucking hate Ed Sheeran.
Why do you hate Ed Sheeran?
I used to dig him when he was like doing looper pedal shit. I thought that was dope as fuck. But I don't know, anytime where someone says like hula, 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 hula in a fucking song, get the hell out of here. That's just gross. It's just so dumb.
I feel that.
It's just so dumb, and like, I just can't even, it's cringy hearing that.
So, in my opinion, I think Shape of You would have been better without that part.
But like, still the hook it makes me feel dirty. It reminds me of Blurred Lines. Like, I'm in love with your body.
Oh, he has a lot of freak-ass songs. Like, let's be real. If we break down Shape of You, that song is X-rated.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It is not.
I don't need to hear that shit.
Yeah, it's not like that 2007 songwriter era at all.
Yeah, and, and that's what makes it like even more uncomfortable. It was just like, I'm the sad guy with an acoustic guitar, and now it's like, I'm a fucking sex machine.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing about you has changed.
Yeah,
You're
still Ron Weasley, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
But the reason why I brought him up is he kind of does what you just described. You know, like. I think the reason why he is successful is not just because he's good.
Because he meshes all the genres.
It's because he meshes everything.
Well, yeah, that's anything super poppy now.
Yeah, like the man can rap.
That's what I'm saying.
He can loop. Like, he's proven to himself he could tour for 2 years and make $500 million.
I'm not saying for 1 inch she's not talented.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying like let's bash her and love Ed Sheeran.
No, yeah.
But I'm saying what you're describing, Ed Sheeran's a good example of that.
Is all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you're right, yeah. I mean, like, I haven't really been able to sit and analyze an Ed Sheeran
I
song?
did on one tour. So I literally had this discussion with a friend of mine in Florida. And he's like, yo, man, you fuck with Ed Sheeran? I was like,
I've
he
never
really said
in
that
that
to me,
fucking
man.
like phrasing too. Yo, man.
Yeah. Shout out my boy Kieran Sontag. But, I was just like, yo, I respect Ed Sheeran. Like, I think he's a talented musician, but I'm not gonna leave this interview and be like, all right, I'm gonna drive home and listen to Ed Sheeran.
Fucking put that song on right now.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not, I mean, like, I definitely know his songs. Like we just discussed Shape of You. And he's like, nah, you gotta really listen to Ed Sheeran. He's like, people think he's a nice guy, but he's a dirty ass songwriter. And then like he had me listen to like 2 records by him. Like it was like one of his old ass records that like nobody knows, and his collaborations record, you know? And I was listening to this dude and I was like, I get it now. It's because he's diverse as shit. And that is something that's always been tried and true.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can wear many hats and be good at it, people will like you.
And I feel like that's what you're doing right now, at least. You know,
I'm trying.
because I wanted to talk about your latest couple releases because I really, really jived with what the fuck was it called? Of course, I forget it. Getting By.
Okay.
That was sick. That kind of reminds me of like some Curvile shit.
Oh, didn't even think of that.
That was the first thing. It kind of just like sounded like that type of era stuff.
Gotcha.
What were you listening to when you were thinking about that song?
Honestly,
song?
I was listening to Hiatus Coyote.
Oh, okay.
And Moonroof. They're both like, neo soul.
Very cool shit.
But how it happened is my friend Andrew, of a lot of projects, but Andrew was a friend of mine that I met at a house show, and we just vibed immediately, And
you're just like, let's do a song.
And he was like, yo, you'd always tap me on the shoulder like, want to record. And I was like, bro, you live in like Newark, New Jersey.
So you just made a day out of it and did that song?
Yeah, we have another song. It's not jazzy. It's a different thing. But we worked on that song, and like the writing process literally took a day.
Mm-hmm.
And like in terms of like the chord changes, it was definitely collaborative. Because at first he wrote this folky thing, and I was like, nah, we're gonna do some jazz because I know you're a drummer. And then like I wrote like the first chordal change, and then it just was like a bouncing off. Like we started nerding out. Like, how about we do a diminish? How about we do a key change? Stuff like that. So then we have the chords.
For Getting By.
Yeah, For Getting By.
Okay.
Which was definitely in and out of my element because like I wasn't a jazz ensemble like years ago, but like a lot of A Day Without Love songs, I use jazz elements, but really I'm like the inversions of them.
Mm-hmm,
I don't want to get too like technical, but like I'm not just like, all right, I'm gonna write this song with changes and stuff,
It's so weird seeing someone air guitar lefty.
yeah. But we wrote the guitar parts. I tracked them. He put drums on them at I think the Music Ward actually.
Okay.
Shout out Kate Dressed Up and that fam. So he did the drums there, and then he tracked the bass, and then we had a whole synth part. But the lyrics, I wrote like 95% of that, and I'm a person that's in recovery, and what I wanted the song to be about as we were writing was like, we're both professional musicians in the sense that we have a 9-to-5 career, but we're also musicians. Our pursuits are different, but that is something that we both have in common,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, how about we write about people, or in my case, I was writing about myself when I was 25, and I was working at Six and Market, and and where Six and Market is where the Independence Beer Garden is.
Mm-hmm.
And Dow Chemical was my client. I was a consultant, and I legit either went to Independence Beer Garden before I would hit the train to go home. Whether it was
every time.
It was like every day. You know what I mean?
Just grab some beers.
Yeah. And like some nights I was like, I'm getting smashed. Other nights I was like, I'm just getting buzzed. But that was my life. Sometimes I'd end up meeting someone and sleeping there. And
oh, wow.
Oh, Brian, wearing the same thing from last night. Looks like you had a good one. And like in my mind, I'm like, I'm just getting by, And it was definitely what I would call, it was alcoholism without a doubt.
Oh, yeah.
But
I feel like everybody goes through some sort of.
But no one saw it that way.
Yeah.
Because it's like, he has a good job. He's in a tower. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that song was about. And like each line was just about one token. That's a double meaning because I was taking SEPTA tokens to go down the train all over the city. And like, I wasn't a big weed smoker, but I did smoke weed. So that was that. So a lot of these lines have double meanings. And Andrew went to school for.
I caught a couple of them. Yeah.
And Andrew went to school for English and writing. So as I was writing, he would be like, yo, you've done a line like that before. Switch it up. So like, that's how he came into the lyric writing process. And then the vocals were just like a lot of different takes and were recorded in the bathroom. And then the trumpet came from Taylor Kelly, who I don't know if you know, but she's like an up-and-coming neo-soul artist in Philly. And I met her through Katie from Show Me Your Playlist podcast. And I randomly had sushi with her one day and was like, can you play trumpet on this shit? And she was like, hell yeah. And then it just all came together. But yeah, the song really is just about... You know, and I don't really think it's about just millennials. It's about being an adult and not being sure if you're happy with what you have, but knowing that you're just getting by, and that's with alcohol and
other
drugs. Yeah, and other. Yeah.
That's I fuck with it.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like even if someone is getting by, you know, just hearing it and having a theme song for it is like this I don't know, because I'm really cathartic when I'm sad sometimes. Like, I kind of like being sad.
True.
And this like hole and like this like kind of just overarching weird feeling. So anytime a song's like kind of reminiscent of bad times, I'm always like a little more drawn to it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there was just like, I think it might have been the chords, it might have been something, but like, yeah, that stood out more to me than a lot of your other songs.
Gotcha.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's real. I mean, there are definitely things that we did that I've never done.
You know, I think you should do more of it. I really like that a lot.
I definitely have another song like that coming with Aaron Fox. So yeah.
So what like is that like pretty much just like your angle, that thing we were talking about meshing all the genres? Like you did the Eternal Rhyme thing. How did you guys meet up, by the way?
So Eternal Rhyme and I met because I wanted him to be my videographer for a collab with Sam Rybread. So Sam Rybread and I wrote a song forever ago, and we did this music video in South Philly. It was called Going, and I knew he was a rapper, but I didn't know he was a rapper going in. I just thought he just did video. And then as we were meeting up, he was just like, oh, by the way, I have this other thing. And he was like, I book shows. And I was like, oh, cool, he's a videographer and he books shows. And he was like, oh, I don't just book shows, I also play music. So then I was like, you know, what is your stuff? Because like I had the email Internal Rhyme at Gmail, but I didn't think
that was his alias.
I just thought that was like his art alias for video. So then I listened to him. I was like, yo, he's pretty tight. And then as I was getting to know him, I was like, oh, you're like low key from Little Dicky's neighborhood. I live next door to Little Dicky's neighborhood. You're like, he's not young enough to know Little Dicky, but I knew Little Dicky like when I was like late college because my friend's sister dated him. Hold on. Another story.
Yeah. Geez, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Just dropping that in there.
Like... But it wasn't like it was a serious date. It was just like they like got pizza together, that type of shit.
Oh, they hung out.
Yeah, that type of thing. It wasn't like one of these songs is about her. Yeah, nothing too serious. We called him Quiet Dave at the time because like he wasn't that talkative, and then
he was just writing rhymes in his head, bro.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna make fun of all you later.
Yeah. And then we were like, what? It was that guy? Anyways.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is. It definitely is. But getting back to the story, so then he wrote this status like, yo, I'm leaving Philadelphia for good in 6 months. If you ever want to work on something, hit me up. So I literally DM'd him and was like, yo, I'm writing some guitar parts that we use for a rap song. Let's meet up. And he's like, you got a producer? And I was like, not for rap. I don't know any rap producers at the time. Little did I know I should have hit you up.
I just do it all, my dude.
Yeah.
It all.
I didn't put two and two together, but like that just...
Hey, no, it sounds amazing.
Yeah. So then...
So I'm not angry with you at all.
So then I met this guy, Digital Crates, who's like funny as shit. And that dude's like, I don't know where he is now, but he's like in Port Richmond area. And I like said, like, here are 4 guitar lines that I have, pick one. And that's how Find Yourself happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the last day of Find Yourself, Mikey came in the studio and I was about to leave. And Mikey's like, bro, what are you doing? Hang out. I was like, all right. It's like a Tuesday at 1 in the afternoon. I was like, I didn't have a job or anything. I was literally just living off of touring and stuff. And then that's basically how that song happened. And we don't have any more songs coming up, but I definitely feel like I'll probably be sending tracks or something to Jeremy one way or the other.
Well, it came out super cool.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration to do all the remixes and like open that up for people?
So the remix,
because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the remix thing also happened just because Camp Candle, they're friends of mine. Like, we've only gigged once, but like we've always been like cool. The producer of Camp Candle hit me up and was like, "Yo, this is sick." Because I was gonna say like, "Yeah, I know you guys always wanted a guitarist in your tracks. Like, let me know if you ever want me to do guitar." It wasn't even on a collab thing, just kind of like a, let me do a solo or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Have you ever worked with hip hop?" And I was like, "Let me send you some stuff that's like about to come out." So I sent them Find Yourself. And then he literally just goes, Mark goes like, "Yo, can I remix this?" And I was like, I mean, I guess.
Wait, what did he hit you up for initially then? I thought he hit you up for because of that song.
No, I hit him up because like a few months ago, we played a show.
Yeah.
And they said to me like face to face, like, "Yo, we should collab on you doing guitar for like some folk stuff."
Oh, okay.
So I was just following up.
Okay, that's right.
And then I just showed him some stuff I was working on. And then Mark was like, "Can I remix this?"
Mm-hmm.
And then I told Jeremy and Creates, I was like, "Is it okay if they remix it?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then
you kind of just opened it
and
up.
then it just was like one thing led to another. Next thing you know, we have 2 like remix mixtapes.
Yeah, like what's there, like 8 or 10?
It's total 10. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so like I didn't see that coming that way. And then the artist, I met her in Reading, and she like has commissions on and off depending on her school schedule. So I just happened to have the good timing for that, and then that's how that all came together.
You inspired me to do like a little self project.
Word.
Of like how you did that song, and yet there's like all these alternate versions of the same song. I'm gonna try to do like a riff or 2 of like just guitar or whatever, and then see if I can do every alias in the collective of that one riff, and just like change it up every fucking time.
That's a songwriting challenge for sure.
Yeah, and I'm only like 5 out of 27 in, but it's fucking hard.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But you made me start this, you son of a bitch. So good on you.
But to answer your primary question, like what got me into like collaborating and writing different angles, after I wrote Diary, I knew on a personal level I didn't want to write another album until I personally changed myself. And I don't
so
just
you like evolved.
Yeah, and I mean that in all aspects of my life.
Do you feel like that happens as a musician? You just purely evolve in like sound, writing, execution, everything? Or do you feel like some people just don't ever get to that
I think
point?
it goes both ways. Some people like literally have discographies where they wrote the same album like 5 times. You know?
I mean, some people like that shit, though.
And it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Because someone's like, it doesn't sound like the other records, you know?
And then that'll be like an argument. I'm not going to drop any names, but we know those records, you know? And then some albums or musicians or, you know, it is that growth. And for me, I wanted to grow because I remember after I dropped Solace and Diary, I basically told the world, I'm not just sad, I'm a bunch of other fucked up things. You know what I mean? And I had 2 choices, sit in that or change. And, you know, I wanted to change, and I thought about, like, what are different ways? Then I listened to the Coloring Book by Chance the Rapper, and I was like, how Chance navigated this record is really fucking clever. How could I do that? And, like, what do I already have? And something that Jake he used to be in my band, always told me, you definitely know Jake, Jake Detweiler.
Probably, yeah.
We've all been in the same room more than once.
If I saw him, I'd be like, oh, yes.
Yeah. He said, like, Brian, you're the most connected dude I know in Philly, and chances are you're probably going to be, like, the most connected dude, period. And I always thought that was a bunch of bullshit. Like, I didn't believe it because I didn't believe in myself, you know what I mean? And then I think it was, like, that was the beginning of a turning point for me as a person and as a musician where I was like, let me challenge myself to get out of my element and not just write my own shit, but write with others and talk about different angles of music, learn different things. You know what I mean?
Because it seems like the last couple singles were all collaborations.
Yeah.
Yeah, which are really fucking cool.
Because, like, the song I did, That's Where You Take It, granted, I 100% wrote that hook. It also was a fair, even share between me and Maria, and I learned shit from Maria. Like, I told her that on our podcast. I was like, yo, real talk, I didn't think this song was going to happen. Because she's so good. Like, she has, like, I think she has a master's degree at Temple in music. She teaches music at conservatories.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like,
and, like, when you're in a room writing with someone like that, that shit really shows.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
She's, like, telling me how to harmonize with her, you know? Like, I'm pretty sure there's one writing session we had where, like, I had to learn how to breathe. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
just, like, taking in shit for vocal
all sorts
lines.
of stuff like that. And I wanted to really open the doors for myself to grow and also contribute and take. So it was like a give and take. And I was telling Brandon this yesterday when I was chilling with him. I was like, you know, I intended for this collaboration thing just to be like a set project. And granted, I'm writing an album myself. Like, you know, this is a Day Without Love album, and it does have a theme. I think this is just something I do now. like, you know what I mean? Like,
why not?
Yeah. And, you know, I learned different angles. I was like, well, rappers have always done it. You know, they have their albums, and then they have their collabs with, like, homies and people they meet across tour. But you don't see too many DIY, like, you know, punk/rock artists mixing the genre. And it wasn't like, I didn't go into it thinking like, ha ha ha, let me be Captain Precocious or whatever you want to be. Obnoxious, pretentious rather, because precocious is a different meaning.
You know, you could have said any fucking word. I would have been like, I know exactly what you mean.
It wasn't like that. It was really like, I want to challenge myself, you know? Because even my old drummer, granted, we broke up on bad terms. Bill said, you need to get your shit together. And I mean, I kind of thank him for that. Like, granted, we're not friends. Like, you know, amends are cleared on like the shit talking we had for each other. There's no real big deal. I pretty much told you what happened. We talked shit on each other, weren't friends anymore. But the best thing that he told me was, you need to get your shit together. And this is my way of doing it.
Well, that's really, that kind of wraps up a lot of things right there.
Yeah.
I do have one more question for you. Just because you play so many goddamn shows and you are always out there on the move. What was probably the worst show you've ever experienced?
The one where the venue just forgot that the show was ever happening.
No, okay. That's just like a bullshit cancellation. I mean, like, you're there, the audience is a nightmare, or someone's a nightmare there or something. Anything horrible like that?
I've had some awkward moments.
No? Yeah?
I don't know if it'd be horrible.
People just not responding at all.
So I haven't had a show where like people just weren't responding since 2013.
Wow.
Yeah. But I definitely have had bad things happen around that show. Like my worst show this year, other than the one that's like you said, a bullshit cancellation, like it was still a good show, but the situation was the worst. And it was in Nashville because the locals were talented as hell. They did bring people. People came, but we low-key were playing in a meth house.
Oh my
You know what I mean? So
that's what I was looking for. That answers the question.
Because it's like,
were people fucking smoking meth like as you're
not
playing?
Smoking meth, but definitely selling it. Yeah, like people were coming in, and then like the host's like boyfriend or whatever was like, "Didn't I tell you? Enter through the back if you want product." And it's like, what the fuck? And keep in mind, I'm feeling bad because like these are not just any locals. These are established locals. Like one of the locals just opened for Colby Calais. Like, you know what I mean?
And you booked this show?
I booked the show. I got the locals. I thought this house was going to be cool because I couldn't find any venues. Some of those locals were familiar with the house and heard good things. So it's just like, literally. So I'm playing with like not just any national artist, like legit
you're playing
people.
with great acts, and you're like, yeah, I booked this show.
And I felt so embarrassed.
Oh,
I remember that
God.
night, I like sent long messages like, I really respect you as talent. I hope you don't hold this against me. They're like, it's okay. It's Nashville. Come to know, similar to Philadelphia, Nashville has a huge meth and heroin problem. You know, people don't think like meth and heroin when they think Nashville. They think it's all daisies, lilies, and guitar
cowboy
strings.
boots.
Yeah, and cowboy boots. But no, it's actually a real thing where you could play a show in Nashville and that's just commonplace.
Well, I mean, I've played multiple shows where, you know, after you get done playing a song, in between your songs, you just hear the sound of a big old nitrous tank filling up. And you're just like, what the fuck did we sign up for?
Yeah. And there's definitely also been situations like that. Like, I played a show in upstate New York and it was a fundraiser. The host was a really cool dude, but like I felt like I was playing in front of the cast of Letterkenny, which like Letterkenny's a funny show, but the
you don't
play...
want to fucking be there.
Yeah.
Like, I love Trailer Park Boys. I don't want to be in those
like,
fucking trailers,
you don't want that
man.
to be real. And like, I remember one dude bought my shirt and he's like, you got 2X? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, cool. He's like, you got smalls? And I was like, yeah. So I sold him the 2X and the small. And then this like girl comes out and like, she's literally dressed in like booty shorts and like a tube top. And it's like, you could see her boobs, like 100%. And like the girl that got the small bought the small. Well, he paid for it. And she like literally is rubbing his belly. And I was like, I don't like the way this is going.
You just
and then she goes,
rubbing a belly makes me so uncomfortable.
And then she gives me a hug and then like goes back to rubbing the dude's belly. She's like, this here girl's my cousin. And I was like,
no, you're fucking kidding.
I'm not kidding, dude. And I'm just like, bro, what? Like, we're in upstate New York. Like you're fitting in a lot of weird American tropes right now.
God.
And then I got my free slice of pizza and left.
Oh my God, dude, that's awful.
Yeah. And then one of the locals had a free Pedro shirt on and had like a soap patch. Yeah. So like I definitely had weird experiences, but keep in mind, all being said, they still listen, merch was sold, et cetera, et cetera. But I could definitely say the way things were in 2013, like I played at JR's bar and someone like whipped out a gun and was doing lines of cocaine.
On the gun?
No. Like on the bar, and the bartender's doing nothing. And he's like, look here, and like calls me the N-word. And he's like, I want you to play Purple Haze because I love Jimi Hendrix and you're black. And if you can't play Jimi Hendrix, I'm going to shoot this here gun. Fortunately, I knew how to play Purple Haze at the time, but like, holy shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that happened.
Wow.
Or, keep in mind, J.R. Barton doesn't exist anymore. And then he passed out. Like, I think he just, like, OD'd on coke.
You had a gun pointed at you.
Yeah, and played. So that happened.
Oh, my God, dude. That's got to be the most scary fucking thing ever.
Definitely.
How is that not number one of worst gig ever?
Well,
a dude on cocaine be like,
no, that was the worst. Yeah, that was the worst.
Oh, my God. Oh, that was the meth show?
That is, huh?
That was the meth house show?
No, those are two different nights. Two different nights. Or, you know, also, this happened in Charlotte, where Charlotte, people paid attention, merch was sold, I got paid. But there was this one old guy who clearly was racist, but he was just so confused. And like, he just goes, yeah, hey, you're so good. I didn't know you people could sound like that. He's like, I thought you could only rap and play the blues. And I just was like, I can't.
Wow.
Yeah. And keep in mind, no one's reacting because they're thinking that's normal.
It's like, oh, that's a great... He said a nice thing to that guy.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So it's just like, I definitely have met people, and it's not like it doesn't go in the back of my head and like try to like repress it, but it's just almost kind of like, this is where we are, you know?
Yeah. Holy shit. Well, I feel like that's a really crazy way to wrap up.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah,
totally.
I'm definitely going to try and end on weird fucking shit like that more often.
Right, most stuff.
Brian, thank you so much. Plug everything you are.
Peace. My name's Brian of A Day Without Love. Also have a podcast called Dreams Not Memes. I'm wearing the hat, Dreams Not Memes.
Are those for sale?
I only have this. I haven't duplicated it yet.
Get on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out a way. Yeah. Next year you can expect a new album from me. I don't have a title for it yet, but it'll be straight 12-song album, and it's going to be about the experience of finding harmony and peace when touring and being true to yourself.
Oh wow, I know a couple people that fucking need to hear that. So.
Yeah. And then the songs from that are going to be also used in a documentary called Safe Space Film. And that documentary is about the cultural relationship between music and America and how underground cultures advocate progressive thought and inclusion and safe spaces to help other people. And what else is coming up? We got a couple collabs coming out with Esther. That's literally our project name, Esther.
That's crazy how you got that.
Yeah. Esther, Aaron Fox. We've got some stuff coming soon.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah. I got a rap mixtape coming out with Valentine from Syracuse.
Wow. A rap mixtape? You're rapping?
Yeah.
Hardcore rapping?
It's not hardcore rapping, but I'm
you're
rapping.
Going for it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm doing a digital project with someone from Indianapolis. So yeah, there's still a couple collabs of different genres coming out.
Can we expect more DIY satire shit from you and Alex?
Maybe. I'm actually seeing Alex like in 24 hours from now.
Oh, cool.
So we'll see. Yeah.
Shout out to Alex.
Yeah, Alex.
Until I Have a Girlfriend.
Yeah.
Check out that fucking podcast.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
So I definitely will probably be doing like follow-up like collabs with people. But yeah, there's definitely going to be new content. I'm just on a little show hiatus, but I'll be back starting late February and then an onward state.
Sounds great, man. We got to do some people eating fruit together and
Most
whatnot.
def.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.